Mr. Caine still is here, and certainly, you know, we made him available to, if you had any questions, to come here and talk to him. But also I want to include that in your report, it does state what the school board intends to, or that there is a redistricting committee will be formed this fall to look at balancing enrollment in the Freedom area.
Has that been announced, that redistricting team?
I'm Bill Caine from Carroll County Public Schools. The committee hasn't been formed yet. It's due to be formed in September once schools are back in session. So we can, I believe, the plan for the superintendent is to include some folks from the actual schools that are affected. So we plan to form it in September and work through the school year. And then a recommendation will come back to the Board of Ed next year with any redistricting to occur and be in place for the following school year. So
to be clear, has an announcement been made that a committee is going to be standing up in September focused on redistricting in the Freedom area?
So the Board of Ed approved the 10-year facility master plan with the recommendation to form a planning committee. I don't know that there's been a formal announcement other than that. It was noted in the public meetings at the facility master plan that was going to happen. At the September Board of Ed meeting, there'll be an official, here's the committee, here's the charge, this is what we're going to do, come back to the Board of Education at a future date, make recommendations, then the board will have to go through. The board has a policy on redistricting they have to follow. They'll be going through that policy, and then ultimately it's the Board of Education's decision on what their boundaries look like. But,
right. No, I appreciate it. This is the first time I heard that a committee is actually standing up in September focused on redistricting in the Freedom area. And
it was discussed at the facility master plan, but
got it.
Unfortunately,
okay.
Yeah. Maybe it's me. We don't get a lot of turnout at some of those meetings on the hearing on the facility master plan, but yeah, it was announced, and I think it'll become more public when the actual committee is announced.
I definitely expect it will become more public.
Yeah, sure.
Bill.
Sure.
Is this a normal process when in any area of the county, if there's schools approaching inadequate, that you would form a committee to look at redistricting?
It's a normal process where every year we develop a 10-year facility master plan based on projections where we look at schools that are, we typically would look at schools that are inadequate, approaching inadequate. If it grows to become inadequate, then yes, okay, we look and say, do we need to look at redistricting? Do we need to look at building additions? Do we need to, is it just a temporary, a couple years it's approaching inadequate and then it goes back to adequate where maybe portable classrooms could handle it? So we look at that every year, but typically we don't necessarily do a redistricting until we see kind of a long-term inadequacy, and then the two main solutions for that are either redistricting or look at adding additional classrooms. So, but yeah, every year that we do the facility master plan, that's part of the process that we look at.